All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video and podcast. We are here at the second annual Hype House with Andy Mulder from Mulder Outdoor Services.
How you doing, Paul?
Good. It's good to have you back at the Hype House and to see you in person again, man.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here. It's an honor to be invited back, and it's gonna be a cool couple days. So, absolutely.
Absolutely, no pun intended. It is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cold here. We went for breakfast and. It's wild how cold it is here.
Yeah, no, it's going to be up in like 78 the rest of the week.
Yeah.
You'll be back in.
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow afternoon. So
cool. Well, we have a bunch of folks that we would like to say thank you to for making this whole trip possible. The Lunchpreneur Academy, the Hardscape Academy. They sponsored this whole home, which is a very nice house. Me and Andy were the first two people to get here. I think we're like, is this the right residence?
Yeah.
10 bathrooms and 8 bedrooms.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In the Gulf of Mexico, you guys can't see it, but I can see it right now. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I want to thank Permedge for sponsoring my travel, for coming here. So huge thanks to Chris and his company, and just making this possible. And it's great to be here. So
absolutely. And I also would like to say thank you to Kohler Engines, Xmark, and Company Cam. So it's really cool to see all these brands, Andy, supporting what we're doing, making content to help elevate the industry. And there's so many brands that want to get behind and support what we're doing.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's really encouraging and inspiring, and it's just it's really great. So
cool. So what's going on back in Indiana? I know it's really cold right now.
Yeah,
when do you guys kind of start with the project?
It's cold for us right now. We've been getting a little bit more snow lately. We do a little bit of snow plowing. I have guys that do that mostly themselves, so pretty much all themselves. So I've been able to remove myself from doing the snow removal, which has been really great. I've pretty much fully removed myself this year, other than the billing, and I talked to my foreman and stuff. So that's been really nice for me and my wife and my family. We've been able to travel more a little bit this year, and that's our goal, is to do some more traveling in the off season. And so being able to do that and not have to worry about the work has been really nice. But we'll be getting ready to get our season going probably beginning of March. It depends on the amount of snow we get. If there's a lot of snowpack on the ground, then it'll take us a little bit longer. But we have a bunch of work lined up already for the season, and we'll be able to, some of that stuff we can get going before it's fully thawed out or whatever. It depends on the weather,
How many jobs are currently in queue?
I have let's see, I probably have 2 or 3 jobs booked, but one of them is probably 6 months long. We closed the biggest job of my career, and it'll take us a huge part of our season. So
really,
yeah, it's a huge blessing. I've been working on it for about 18 months with the client, and it was on, and then it was off, and then it was on, and then it was off, and then it kind of fizzled out for a while, and then this past fall we reconnected and got the deal done, and we're going to go for it. So it'll be it's a landscaping around the home, and we're going to be there for 5 to 6 months. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. I mean, it's very exciting. So
are you going to be able to post this project on social media?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to follow along with the whole thing, obviously, on our stories, and then I'm actually hoping to get somebody to do. I really want to do more on YouTube. I just think it would be really cool to do that, and it's always a time thing for me. But I'm hoping to find somebody that maybe can come like once a week and kind of do like just a recap of what was done for the week, and then put that maybe a video once a week or something to follow that job along. I just think it'd be really cool. Transformation at this home is going to be amazing. It's not a new home; it's been there for a while, and so we're taking out a bunch of stuff and a lot of boulder work and. A lot of stuff that I've never done before, as far as like the type of materials we're using. And so I'm really excited about that. I think there'll be some great challenges that we'll be able to work through and learn. And I mean, I just got a new excavator last week for this job specifically to move some of the material around, and there's a lot of exciting things coming, man.
Can you tell us what exactly you're doing? At 5-6 months, I can't. My brain can't compute.
Yeah, so there's about, I don't know, probably a month's worth of work or 3 weeks worth of work tearing out their existing landscaping. There's a pool patio already there, and there's landscaping and a deck, and
it's going.
Everything's coming out. We're basically blank slate. There's retaining walls everywhere that we're taking out.
Wow.
And then we have a lot of boulder retaining walls. There's 350 tons of boulders figured for the job, and we're doing all weathered limestone, so it's like a weathered rock. It's not like a round rock, like an actual like boulder, I guess. It's a natural product, obviously, but it's called weathered limestone. It'll come out of Missouri, and then there's 4,000 square feet of pavers around the house, new sidewalks, new aprons by their garages, and pool patio. Obviously, tons of lighting and massive plant palette, and it's just everything about it. Nothing is like something like I'm scared to do. It's just everything's a lot. It's just
so
going to
you've
take.
basically done everything before. It's just at a greater scale.
I mean, this amount of boulders work, I've never done this amount before, but we've done stuff like that before. It's just a lot of it. So everything's going to take longer. I think, like, I'm trying to prepare myself mentally for the mental game of how long we're going to be there. It's something that I've learned in the last couple of years doing some larger projects. I think the longest job we've been on has been like maybe 7 weeks or 8 weeks. And it's a mental game, like for me as the owner, like, and even my employees, like making sure they understand, like, this isn't going to happen in a second. It's going to take time. There's a lot of steps to this. Everything has to be done in the right order. And it's just, you're not going to be in and out of there in a week. It's going to take time. And for me, I just have to prepare myself, like, we're not going to finish this in 2 months, it's hard to wrap my mind around that even. But I know it's going to be a blessing for our company. I'm not going to have to mobilize near as much. Obviously, we're going to bring our equipment there, and it's going to pretty much stay there, which would be really great. So I think there's going to be a lot of efficiencies with that and benefits with that, and I'm not going to have to be as stressed about going to look for other jobs for the whole summer because we're committed to that job, and so it's a lot of eggs in one basket, but I believe it's the right basket, and I believe that God's put this in this position for a reason at the perfect time, and I'm really excited about it.
How do you go about collecting the payments? Do you just have a certain, when we get done with this area, we'll get some money?
So I decided to do it. We did a 25% deposit, and then we did then there's another 25% before we get started. And then I broke it out in months, so it's basically a draw schedule every month, not based on what we get done. It's based on time spent on the job. And the reason I did that, I've done other jobs, larger scale jobs, where I did it based on like a milestone in the project, meaning like, okay, like, once we lay all the pavers, then this amount of money is due. Or once we install the sod, then you pay for this. I didn't do that. I did it strictly based on every 4 weeks, basically, we get a set amount of money. And the reason I did that is because this job is there's so many different moving parts to it that I wanted to make sure that I didn't know exactly where we're going to be at a certain time, and we maybe we get to this point and we have to wait for something else to get done, so then we jump over here, and there's always going to be something to do, and I might have a couple guys back here and one guy up here doing this, and I didn't want to get to the point where, like, we have a bunch of open areas and none of them are finished, and so I can't collect any money, even though we're still working there every day. So that's why I did it like that, and so,
That makes a lot of sense. Well, let's go back to the driveway job. I was following along on Instagram. That was really fun to watch you guys and be like, I don't know if they're going to get all. That's an ambitious goal. He's like, we're going to get this done today. And I was like, and then you did it.
Yeah.
So it was cool to kind of follow along.
Yeah, that.
Share with those who maybe don't follow you on Instagram or YouTube and don't know about this job, but it was beautiful work.
Yeah, thank you. So we did it wasn't the client's whole drive. It was basically their parking and turnaround area. It was 3,000 square feet, which is no small amount, but it fits the house. I mean, it makes sense. And so we did a Unilock town hall driveway for them. And so they had a company come in and take out all the concrete because they have another company that's going to finish they have like a 400-foot driveway after this leading up to their house. And so the concrete company that was going to re-pour that section, they came and cut up all the existing concrete, and they removed it. And then we came in and did the excavation, base stone, of course, everything we needed for that. And then we did a granite it's called the Belgian block. It's a granite cobblestone, if you will. It's 4 by 8 by 12. And we did that for curbing. We set that all in concrete everywhere for curbing. And then we did the town hall pavers in a 3-color blend and a herringbone pattern. And me and one guy basically laid it in a week. We did the whole job in 3 weeks. And it was by far the most physically demanding thing I've done in a very long time, because there's no fast mechanized way to lay small pavers like that. You're just going to lay them by hand.
Yeah, and the client, I'm assuming, was really happy. It looked like it turned out great.
They were head over heels for this. They just loved it. And then the project ended up winning Best Driveway for Unilock for the Awards Excellence in Indiana, which was super cool. I mean, that was like it's literally been a company, like a dream of mine to do a driveway one day. And then we were able to do a driveway. We're able to do it with one of the best products that Unilock makes, and then it wins the Awards of Excellence. Like, it was really just a huge blessing, and just so cool. I felt like it nearly killed me doing it, because it was so physically demanding, and my foreman had been gone for 2 months in the season, and that job fell on that when he was gone. And so you just have to get up in the morning and go to work. You got to get it done, and it turned out really cool. So yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to kick it back to Mr. Producer. Andy's in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm trying to connect Andy with Mr. Producer. You may be, you already are doing on Sunday nights a live stream on Instagram.
Yep.
And you took a little break. Now you're back.
Yep.
And what you're thinking is maybe taking the audio from that, enhancing it, getting it top-notch, not that we're top-notch, but it sounds better when you have the equipment.
Yeah.
And then actually putting that out on Apple, Spotify.
Yeah, making my own podcast out of it. So.
Yeah. Do you have a name yet, or you just?
I have something in mind, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
A little tease. But, Mr. Producer, you may have a new client coming your way. We'll see.
Right. Yep.
We'll see. And but anyway, he's back in the Appalachian Mountains. His house, he doesn't want me to tell you his address, but he literally lives in the mountain. I mean, you drive up the hill just to get there. He's got black bears in his backyard.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
And he's got his bunker there. She's like, why don't you come on down, Gulf of Mexico? And it's like, I'm good.
That's awesome.
I don't know. This is pretty good to me.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. It's amazing.
But we're going to hear from today's show sponsors. They made this whole tour possible. Again, who's your sponsor to come down here?
Perma Edge. Yep.
Perma Edge. And then we have Kohler, Exmark, Company Cam making this possible for us. So we want to say thank you to them real quick. I got to adjust my headphone here and turn the lights on for YouTube. I forgot. I set everything up, and then I forgot to turn the lights on. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back with Andy Mulder here at the Hype House. And I wrote about you in 2 of my books, Andy, because I'm really impressed, not just with the business you built. It's debt-free. You got awesome jobs. You do quality work, happy customers. Everything about your business is good. But what impressed me about you is you also have a marriage, and you're there for your children, and you value that. And so we see so many folks build big top-line revenue, and everything's broken at home. So how have you been successful on both fronts?
It's not all.
I want to focus more on the family part.
Yeah, right. It's not always sunshine and roses, but we've in the last I don't know, I'd say 2 to 3 years.
Keep going.
I really decided we wanted to put more of an emphasis on some more family time and spending some more time at home on the weekends and going on trips with our family. And I feel like we all work as business owners. Whoever's listening that owns a business, we all put so much work into wanting to run a business so that we can have more freedom in our lives, and that's like a big motivator. And like, if you never actually have more freedom, because the business can engulf you and control you and runs your life, and I didn't want that, and it's like, get to the point, why am I working so hard? Like, if I can't enjoy any of this, or I'll actually have more freedom, what is the point? So we kind of started this thing, which I kind of quickly, you showed me in your book that you wrote, which thank you again, Paul. I really appreciate that. That's really honoring to be in your books. But it was this thing called Dadder Day, and I stopped working Saturdays last year, which for a landscaper seems so crazy to not be working Saturdays. and it's a mental game. I'm past it now, but initially it was like a mental game for me, like not working Saturdays. Like if you see other guys out working, you're like, oh, I should be working. It's really nice today. Why am I not working? But now it's become a great time with my family. Allows my wife some more free time. Allows me to spend one-on-one time with my boys. We can go. Sometimes we go work in the shop. Sometimes we go four-wheeling. Sometimes we go fishing. Sometimes we just hang out at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's been a really big blessing in having that time and kind of putting that time first. And then we've started to do a little more traveling with our family, which we've tried to do that over the last couple winters. We go somewhere, but trying to do a little bit more. And again, we've tried to set up our personal lives in a way that allows us to go do things like that. And that starts with, being debt free and saving money and living below your means. And now we're able to start enjoying more of that. And it's just been really cool to see like the fruits of our labor, come to fruition in that way, and just be able to enjoy some more family time, and it's just been a really big blessing. So
Yeah, when you say debt-free, you're talking the big debt-free, Dave Ramsey Baby Step 7.
Yeah. So we've been on his program for, I think, excuse me, it's probably been 10 years that we've been on his program. We've been married for 12 and maybe 11 years. Anyways, and so we started the business debt-free. And that's been a huge passion of ours. And then it was about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago now, we were able to pay off our house. And now, and he talks about it so much, like what it allows you to do because of that and the freedom you have from that. And you just think differently about money, and it just, the doors open wide up. It's just you don't have anything holding you down for anything.
So all that money coming in, it used to go to the mortgage to the other equipment building the business, but now everything's set.
Right.
The money comes in. It's like save, invest, give, vacation.
That's right.
Your options are a lot better than a mortgage with interest.
That's right. It's been a huge. I think it probably took me 1.5 years to be like holy cow, this is really going to change my life. Like it really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like initially, like cool, we don't have to pay that anymore, and then you're like, wow, like now we can do this, and now we don't have to. You know what I mean? Like it just. I don't know. It's very hard to explain. It feels really weird, and I never want to have a mortgage again in my life. So.
Yeah. Do you have any other plans to have debt with building or equipment, building your business? Are you kind of?
No, I'll never go into debt for anything again. I never. 100%. I'm 100% committed to it. Me and my wife are both committed to it. We have goals of. Buying property for our business and building a shop, and part of that, some of that will be some retirement planning as far as I want to build a building big enough to have a couple run my business out of it, and then I have a couple bays for other companies to rent, and then eventually when I want to close my business down, I want to be able to have I want to build offices in it for us, but then be able to rent the offices and rent the bays for the shop. Like I want it in an industrial park, have kind of some parameters that I want so that it's set up for the future. It'll be great for our business, but I can probably keep going for a long time in what we're currently operating out of, which is 4 shipping containers. But I'm sick of looking at it at my backyard, and it would be good for my employees. It'd be good for the company to move to its own location. But I just think that we know that it will be good for our long-term portfolio and investing and retirement planning. So that's a big goal, and I want to do that all with cash. So it's going to take us a while, but I don't care. Once it happens, it'll just be amazing. So
yeah, what would your advice be for somebody who's maybe in baby step 2 or 1, or maybe don't even, not that Dave Ramsey's the you got to maybe you're not even aware of what his program is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the principles they're biblical, they're time tested, they work. What would you say to somebody who paying off the mortgage seems so far fetched? What's kind of your motivation or inspiration or encouragement to someone who's kind of back where you and your wife were 10 years ago when you're just starting?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is figuring out your why. Why you want to do this, because if you don't have a good reason, and you need to know where, you need to have a goal in mind and where we're going and why. Like for us, we knew that if we could, which Dave talks, if we live like no one else, later you can live and give like no one else. And like that sounds like cliche, but like really think on those words. Like, what is this going to allow us to do? What is always holding us back? Why can't we do this thing? Why can't we go to this place? Why can't we help this person? It's because you have these anchors tied around you all the time, right? And that was like when we went through Financial Peace University. One of the last lessons he talks about giving, and like it just struck me so hard, like what you can do when you have margin in your life to give to others and give to your church and help somebody in need and give to your family and change your family tree. I mean, I'm not here to do it.
Commercial for Dave Ramsey.
No, but it's
promo code Mulder saves you
right.
off FBU.
Yeah, right.
I'm just
kidding.
Like,
it will change your life. And like for us, we knew that once we went through his program and like once we saw what you can do and we knew why we wanted to do it was to have a different life and change our family tree, literally. It's like that's where we're going.
Has your why evolved over the 10 years, or have there been ebbs and flows where you've been gung-ho and making heavy sacrifices versus getting lenient? How's it? 10 years a long time.
Yeah.
How did it progress?
I think it was really motivating. So the paying off the house thing, the year before we did it, I looked at what we were doing in the business, how the business was doing, how we were growing, what I in the year prior, what I was able to purchase with cash, and as far as equipment goes, and I was looking at, after reviewing everything, I'm like if I stopped for a year from investing in the business and was able to put that money, or a larger chunk of that money into our home, like we could pay off our house next year. I could just see it. And like, that was super motivating to me. I remember going to my wife and be like, Ellie, like, look at what we could do. We could do this. She's like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, you don't want to, like, there was, the company's growing, so there was always, because we pay in cash, I'm always saving my money to invest in the next piece of equipment.
Right.
Usually it's a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if we just pause for 1 year or a year and a half or whatever it takes, like I can see it. Like before I couldn't see it. I just knew like, okay, in the next 10 years, we're going to pay it off by our payment, or we were paying like double payments or whatever. But once I saw like that we were able to do that, like it was like full steam ahead. Like that was all I cared about. The next year was saving every dime that we possibly could to pay off our house, because I knew the faster we did that, everything would change after that.
So you just chunked double or triple payments?
Oh yeah. Well, and then at the end it was one big lump sum because I knew we had the money to do it. And
wow. What was that like that day you paid it off?
I don't know. It was kind of anticlimactic because like you don't like send in a check; it's all electronic.
Balloons fall down.
Yeah, right. It doesn't, and like that's what I was saying. Like, okay, we just did it, and I'm like, okay, now what? It's like. But that's why I said, like, it took some time to, like, really realize that. And, like, coming home every day and look at what you're walking into and sleeping at night, and you own it. You know what I mean? Nobody can ever come and take it from me. And then last October, my dad passed away. And when that happened, and, like, going through all that and helping my mom through everything, and he had a trucking company. We had to close basically and sell everything off. And, like, going through that, And he did a good job, and they did a good job of like it wasn't messy, right? From a financial, like the money side of it wasn't messy, but it even more like solidified in my mind that what we're doing is the right thing, because I know if I were to pass away tomorrow, I know that my wife, it's clean for my wife. Every single thing she'll have to sell, she will keep all the money, and she won't have to call 100 banks and tell them what happened, or she won't have, 3 months after, she won't be keep getting these bills that come in for these payments that she's like, holy cow, now I got to pay for this. Now, you know what I mean? Like, I want to set my family up. If something happens to me all of a sudden, I want it to be, obviously it will be terrible for everybody, but it will be a blessing for them I'm leaving them a blessing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think Dave Ramsey calls, not this is a Dave Ramsey commercial, but I'm a avid listener and trying to, I'm not 10 years behind you, but I'm back in the, grit, grind, sacrifice stage.
Yeah.
So I'm experiencing a different side of it right now than when you're saying live like no one else. There's a version of that where on the front end you're making the sacrifice. Then when it's the live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. I'm watching you on Instagram. Now here I am looking at the Gulf of Mexico, but I'm watching you. I'm watching. Thanks again, Caleb and Brian. They picked up the tab on this one, for real. But I'm watching you and your wife down. Where are you?
Indiana.
Cancun? Or no?
Oh yeah, we were in Cancun
twice.
Yeah, we went twice. Once in December, once in January.
Yeah, I was like, what in the world? And then you live like no one else. So later you can live like no one else. And so I lost my train of thought with everyone walking around. But I was making a point about the legacy drawer.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey talks about the cleanness. Is he has a drawer, and his wife Sharon, if he were to pass away, and he is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but everything's orderly, clean. It would be kind of a seamless, minus the grief. It would be a easier.
Yeah, and like that, I've heard of recently, like family or people that we know close enough to know that when somebody passed away, it was a disaster from like a financial point. Like they didn't know anything about it, or they had all these things that they didn't expect they were going to have to pay for, and nothing was taken care of. And like, I want to leave my family with a blessing and something that they can say like, he did a good job for us, And I'm not saying like if you're in debt, you're not doing a good job for your family. I'm just saying for me personally, I don't want my wife to have to worry about what bills are coming in the mail that she didn't know about, or like just, say I had 4 excavator payments and they were $3,000 or $1,000 a piece. Well, then every month she's paying that until she can sell it. And you know what I mean? Like, I just want it to be clean, and like, I just want it to be easy for them. And I want to take care of my family well, and I believe God calls us to be good stewards of our money. And I think that's being the best steward of my money.
In the process before you paid off the mortgage and you were saving every penny you could to accomplish that goal, what was your lifestyle like? What was your sacrifices you were making to keep that money tunneled in at the mortgage? Were you going out to eat, going on these vacations? What were you doing, not doing lifestyle wise?
Excuse me. I think we weren't like doing anything crazy. We were just living we didn't have any personal debt before that. It was only, we did, but we had sold the vehicles that we had and then bought vehicles with cash. That was early on. And then when we moved to our house that we're at now, it was a vacant house that needed a bunch of work, so we got it really cheap. And so it didn't cost us a lot to live there. And so we were just living our normal lives. And we weren't like killing ourselves to pay off the mortgage. It was like because we had been there for a couple years, and so we had gotten used to paying a little bit extra on it. And this is just what we're going to do. This is how we're going to